from the early 1970s in Bell Howell. This is their model 406 cassette recorder, Educator Series. It's mostly dark gray or black. There's a probably 3.5-inch speaker under here. We have a counter with a reset button. We have our cassette compartment, Bell Howell Educator Series. This little button here shows there's a spot for 6 cassettes and a little tray there. We have our condenser microphone, and under here is our controls. Eject, our standard piano key controls. Auto level on or off. This is the recording level control indicator, and that little light will come on when you're recording. Tone control, volume control, and power switch. Inside the flap, there's basic instructions on how to turn on the recorder. You're recording, what to do. So, we'll close that. Let's see, there's also a little carrying handle. Comes out. It's pretty much gray, and I'm going to call this blue, although you can make an argument that it's green or turquoise. It's not unattractive though. So we have a mic, 3.5mm, no remote capabilities on this, 1/4-inch headphone jack, and 1/4-inch aux input jack. Around the back you can see part of the power cord spot, and there's nothing around the right side. Flipping it over, we'll have the indicator for the model 406 Bell Howell, and the electrical warning. And in here we'll have our power cord. This has no capabilities to be operated on batteries. It's very heavy duty power cord, grounded outlet. I'm just going to leave this out since we're going to be using it, of course. Operating the cassette compartment door. Eject. This has kind of a locking method for the cassette tape. You push it in and it locks before you lower it. Pretty fast eject. It's difficult to see in here. We'll see some stuff when I look inside the machine, but this window is almost like a black hole. You can't see much through it at all to see the heads or things. Here's the box it was in at the estate sale, pretty plain. I had seen pictures before the estate sale and I saw this box, but I didn't see the left side panel which showed it was a cassette recorder, so I was pretty pleased with that. But that's the only other thing on the box, so there's no indication of production or anything. I think this is a 1972 or 1971. I found an ad in a paper for 1971, I think December, and there's a date code on the speaker inside. Looks like this was a Sanyo made machine. There's a date code of 1972, so I'll probably just go with 1972. Also in the box was this little microphone, very little, much smaller than I would expect for a cassette recorder this big. It is, of course, a mono mic, 3.5-inch. There's no remote. It's for a mono machine. So we'll use that for our recording today. At some point during the demonstration, I'm going to try and use these 1/4 inch old Norelco speakers with this, and I've arranged a little adapter to get both 1/4 inch Norelco plugs into 1/4 inch to go into the Bell Howell machine. We'll try and listen to if we can hear a difference between these and the internal speaker. Before we get going too far in, let's take a look at what I found inside. Testing the mechanicals of this, everything seemed to work pretty well, except rewind does not want to go into rewind usually from stop. It will go into it from play. So I got in there to try and see what was going on, and I found very loose belt, but mostly it records fine. So the belt probably has something to do with it, but in general it works, and even sometimes rewind from stop does work. Also, the counter is a little sketchy. Sometimes it works fine, other times it doesn't. Once again, probably a belt issue. But let's look inside. Alright, I've taken the bottom off. Maybe we can look inside and see a few of the components. The belts on this is very weak. It looks like to change you might have to take out that whole component there. Not sure what that is. To get the thrust plate off. This appears to be a Sanyo machine. Let's see if I can figure this out here where the buttons are. Alright, stop, pause. This should be play.
The sound like the blast of a trumpet began, growing louder and louder until the people ran backward in fear. "Moses," they cried.
That's the tape that was in it when I got it. I guess the kids were in Bible study. Alright, let's see. Stop, pause, play. Fast forward. Nothing. Stop. Play.
Pause, and we will hear.
Fast forward. So we'll go into fast forward from play.
I am the Lord your God, who brought you up.
Stop, pause, play.
Out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods.
Rewind. No rewind there. Maybe this will play better when it's right side up. I'm pressing stop and nothing's happening. Well, we'll see if we can figure this out. Alright, try and look at a couple of the other components under here. Alright, let's start a test of the recording quality, and we'll turn the unit on. We'll start with it on auto level, although we might change that later. We'll put in a cassette. We'll start by testing the internal condenser microphone, and at some point I'll plug in the external microphone and hear if we have a difference. Alright, I'm testing the Bell Howell 406 with the internal condenser microphone. Recording light's on. I am getting some meter deflection, so that's good news. We do have some tape movement, although it's hard to see. And the counter is working at this time. It started at 0. Sometimes at the end it'll be way too far off. I know the counter didn't move that much. Haven't figured that out yet. But that's the internal condenser microphone. I'm going to plug the external microphone in. And now we're talking into the external microphone, which is just so small I find it almost funny. I have much better longer stick microphones from Bell Howell. I think I have one that is not remote, but most of my Bell Howell stick microphones do have remote, which I would really like. I don't know why this unit did not come with one, but it didn't. Alright, I'm going to stop this temporarily. I'm going to turn to auto level off. I'm going to press pause, then record and play. Now I'm going to try and set my recording levels. Right now I'm getting about the same thing. Let's jump them up just a little there. So we'll see on playback if I'm overdriving that. Right now I probably am. But I tend to like setting the levels myself. We'll just have to see how that goes. Alright, we're now testing the recording level with the auto level off on the Bell Howell 406. And when we play it back, we'll hear if there's any difference or what difference between the auto level on and off vis-a-vis the way I set the auto level, which is probably overdriving it. So let's stop and play this back. Well, the counter's working okay. Excellent. Stop and playback. So what I think first we'll hear the test with the condenser microphone, then the external microphone on auto level on, and then auto level off. Six with the internal condenser microphone. Recording light's on. I am getting some meter deflection, so that's good news. We do have some tape movement, although it's hard to see. And the counter is working at this time. It started at 0. Sometimes at the end it'll be way too far off. I know the counter didn't move that much. Haven't figured that out yet. But that's the internal condenser microphone. I'm going to plug the external microphone in. And now we're talking into the external microphone, which is just so small I find it almost funny. I have much better longer stick. You'll notice this is just a recording level. This does not move on playback. Microphones from Bell Howell. I think I have one that is not remote, but most of my Bell Howell stick microphones do have remote, which I would really like. I don't know why this unit did not come with one, but it didn't. Alright, I'm going to stop this temporarily. Alright, we're now testing the recording level with the auto level off on the Bell Howell 406. And when we play it back, we'll hear if there's any difference or what difference between the auto level on and off vis-a-vis the way I set the auto level, which is probably overdriving it. So let's stop and play this back. This is okay, I think it sounded better with the external microphone and the auto level set to off. In my opinion, that's what sounded the best. But it sounds pretty good either way. And I think one of the reasons I had when I was checking this inside and upside down, That's when I was having trouble sometimes with the fast forward and the reverse. It wants to be played in this physical position, which is understandable. Alright, let's try a quick test with the internal speaker of a pre-recorded cassette. What do we got? Loverboy. Have to kind of remember what that sounds like. We'll try and play this with the Norelco speakers here in a bit. Okay. Always some copyright problems there. Alright, we'll try a test of recording some music through the MP3 player. We'll try it on auto level. Let's put this on pause. We're using the microphone jack, not the aux jack. Okay, we're getting some, what looks to me like fairly reasonable meter deflection there. So we'll unpause it. I suppose if I'd hooked something into my speaker outputs, I might have been able to listen to this and monitor it while it was recording, but I've not. When we play this back, at first we'll listen to it through the internal speaker. And then we'll hook up the Norelco speakers and see what kind of difference there is through this. I haven't tried this yet. I don't know what music recording is going to sound like. I had tried the voice recording earlier just to make sure the whole recording process worked, but not music recording. Didn't try that. So we probably got enough there. Let's stop it. See if it will rewind. Yeah, we're doing okay. Stop. Yeah, went back all the way. And play. So we're going to hear it through there. So it looks like the prime spot for that recording indicator is the halfway point there, where it goes from white to goldish or orangish. Okay, well, let me pause here and set up with the Norelco speakers. That'll take a little bit of configuration here on the little table. We'll come back and we'll try listening to the pre-recorded Loverboy again and this tape here. Alright, I have the Norelco speakers probably from about 1968 plugged in. Two speakers plugged into the one speaker jack. We'll see how this sounds. First we'll listen to the recording I just made from the MP3 player. I had to stop for a minute and verify that I was getting audio from both speakers. I'm sitting towards this speaker, so I was hearing this much louder, but it's coming out of the right speaker too. Okay, well, it sounds pretty good. I'd say it certainly sounds better than the internal speaker, as you would expect, but I just wanted to try it. So let's hear what a pre-recorded. Well, there, rewind's working again. It's just finicky. Where's our Loverboy tape? So how does a commercially pre-recorded tape sound? Okay, well, I certainly think both of them, as you would expect, sound much better through a pair of external speakers, even though it's just dual mono and not true stereo. But it's serviceable anyway. Maybe after this is over, I'll do some more recording somehow. Anyway, that's been the 1971-72-ish Bell Howell 406 cassette recorder, Education Series. I don't see any institution marks on this, where it was, what school it was in, etc. But it obviously was designed for an education, very heavy duty power cord, etc. And it still works pretty well for being as old as it is and as weak as the belt seems. A little skittish on rewind sometimes, and sometimes the tape counter seems to be skittish. But overall, not a bad little unit. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about old electronics, etc.